You're listening to Underestimated, the podcast that helps overwhelmed small business owners turn their size into their unfair advantage so they can grow without burning out. Now here's your host, Shawna Suckow.
Have you ever done a collaboration with another small business to drive business to both of you? Well, today I'm going to be taking that a giant, huge step forward and talking about weird, unusual collaborations because they really stand out and they get media coverage and they get people to go, what? They get people to stop the scroll. And it's so much more than just we're partnering with a charity to do this thing, which is great. But everybody's doing that now. And so we have to step it up a notch and come up with things that accomplish those same goals, whether it's got a charitable angle or not. And we'll talk about some of those today. But let's unpack types of collaborations that you can consider. And you can try any of these or come up with your own. Hopefully this will get you thinking creatively about what you can do. This first one has been on my mind for 20 years because when my husband at the time, now my husband, was driving to Wisconsin for work from Minnesota, he would always pass this billboard that said Taxidermy and Cheese. And he would call me and say, hey, do you need any taxidermy or cheese? And we'd have a good laugh. And it was just this thing we did. Well, I dug a little deeper into why does this collaboration exist? And I found this out. According to its website, which is now, they just rebranded in 2024. It is now, I'm not sure how to say this, avesstudio.com, Aves, I don't know. But Dave Brummel and his wife Sandy started this company together, combining his talent of taxidermy with her father's 10-time world champion cheese making skills. And they made this a successful run for years and years. But her father passed away. They did not continue the cheese making. I don't know why they kept the sign up, probably because it's just so well known and it gets attention. Now they sell taxidermy and clay. The next weird collaboration was born in my own classroom, which was so exciting to see this happen. So I had this group of small business owners. I was doing a session on marketing and I split them up. I had everybody stand and I said, quietly go stand next to the person who you think is most different from you. And this one pair of men stood out to me, and I went and talked to them and got a vibe for what they were coming up with. The one man was wearing a three-piece suit and very buttoned down, looked like he was in maybe his 50s or 60s. The other man looked to be in his 30s, tall, big guy, wearing a sleeveless shirt with full sleeve tattoos and kind of a scruffy beard, and they did on the surface look very opposite, but they were both really creative businessmen. So it turns out that the guy in the three-piece suit owned a franchise of Duck Donuts, and the other guy with the tattoos owned a brewery in town. And this is a smaller town in Pennsylvania. And what they came up with during that session of a collaboration they could do together was beer and donut tasting flights. Oh my gosh, I would drive to go experience this if it weren't so dang far away from Minnesota. So the way that this worked is at the end of most days, Duck Donuts has leftover donuts. And rather than throw those away, they decided, okay, we're going to gather these up and bring them to the brewery. And the brewery will use these as inspiration to make flavors. Some of these flavors were made using the donuts somehow. I don't know how that works. But then on the brewery's slowest night, which was, I think, a Tuesday, they had a serving room and they would serve donuts from Duck Donuts, like fresh ones, along with these beers that were paired to go with these flavors. And it went mad. It went crazy. And this became so popular. I need to look it up and see if they're still doing this because this has probably been at least 10 years ago now. But what a fabulous collaboration that never would have happened because these guys probably would never have walked over to each other and struck up a conversation because they were just so different on the surface. Okay, this next one has to do with beer also. What about beer and bicycling? A dangerous combination? Perhaps, but RAGBRAI, which is an annual bike ride across the state of Iowa, the long way from west to east, I believe. Maybe sometimes they go east to west. But RAGBRAI has this tradition that at every stop, there is something like pie or beer. It's like the best. These are the only things that I think could motivate me to ride a bike 5 miles, let alone across the state of Iowa. But this has become a thing. So now all of these people, it has attracted an unlikely crowd of people who maybe never would have done this, but now do this because it's so fun. And some people do the whole ride across the state, which takes days, and you camp along the way. Others just come for maybe one day or one night and they experience this. And these are people who probably never would have done this. So brings business to the local communities that they stop in, and also brings business to RAGBRAI and exposes them, and also great PR, and exposes them to new people every year. How fabulous is that? Okay, I think we're on a roll. So let's give you one more beer example. Beer and dogs. So a lot of breweries have done this. We are foster dog parents, and we have gone to these as well. Generally they're called yappy hours, where breweries or bars open their establishment to dogs, or in the summer they'll do it on a patio or something like that. And rescue dogs are brought in for adoption. And this is such a win-win. I love this idea so much. In Minnesota, we love our patios in the summer to go eat, drink, whatever. And if we can bring our dogs, even better. And if we can help dogs that need rehomed, so much better. And if we can do that while having a beer, woohoo, win, 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 all the way around. So what can you do to pair your business with beer or dogs? Okay, I got to throw in one more, just because when my husband and I were engaged, and we were going around, and I was super excited about bridal shops and going and visiting those. And he was feigning excitement, as men generally do. That's how you can tell if they're going to be a good husband. And he would sit patiently while I tried on dress after dress and veil after veil. And he said one day, this would be amazing if they had a TV and beer. Oh! Now, I know there's liquor licensing issues with all of this, but if there's some way to make this happen, I'm sure you can figure it out for your business. Otherwise, go to the brewery, bring the things to the brewery if that's somehow possible. Whatever it is that you do, think about a collaboration with that. And now, since I mentioned dogs once, let's move on to more collaborations with dogs, because I think that some of the best things that you can do are partnering or marketing with kids or dogs, because or pets. I mean, I don't want to even mention cats, but I guess they're people's pets. Whatever, you guys are weird. But these are kind of universal things that most people like one or more of these things: kids, animals, etc., or they have kids, or they're a grandparent. It's just kind of a universal emotion trigger. And so that's why it works in marketing, but as events, even better. So a client of mine, which is a rural telecom, used to be a telecom. They're not called telecom anymore. Now they do mobile and Wi-Fi, but they're in a rural community. And they decided that they wanted to do these pop-up events rather than just doing one. They used to do kind of one major event year-round, and it was this thing. It was really expensive. It took a lot of time to plan, and it was just one thing that they could get media coverage around, and it just didn't have too long of a cycle for PR. So what they decided to do is give that up and separate into lots of tiny pop-up events where they would just show up at a local business and do something there, whatever it is. It depends on the business. So at Christmas time, they decided to do a pop-in at this pizza place that had just gotten written up in, and had gotten some great press for having great pizza. And this pizza place was having dog pictures with Santa to bring in traffic. What a great collaboration on their own. But this company, this client of mine decided, okay, let's do a pop-in, and we're going to just, anybody who brings their dog in for this thing, which is 2 hours on a weekday night, we're going to pay their fee to have this done because it all goes to charity. And if they want to pay or donate, we'll match it. And this was fabulous. It cost them only a few $100s. And the community, think of the word of mouth. Think of the media coverage. Think of the goodwill that they built. And they partnered, they were associated with this charity, they were associated with this great pizza place that a lot of people love. And you don't think of, oh, heartwarming, my Wi-Fi company is so heartwarming. Well, they're changing that one pop-up collab at a time. Psst, I'm interrupting you to tell you about a really cool resource that I just came up with. If you're not familiar with my vault, I have this entire marketing resource vault, and it's not just marketing. There are small business, there are operations tools, anything for your small business. I am building this out constantly. You can find it at thebuyerinsider.com, and I have a tab called Learn, and then just look for the vault. And it's free to get in. 90% of the tools are free. They're just there to help you. A few of the tools are paid because they've taken me a lot of time or they're more complex. And one of those is my story bank kit. I know that a lot of small businesses, they go, oh, I know you harp on telling stories because they're more memorable and they build trust and they help me stand out, but I don't have any stories. Yes, you do. And the story bank kit is something that I've built. It is something fillable online, or you can print it and do it as you go offline. But it is going to help you come up with 90 days worth of stories that you can use on your social media or on your website or wherever. And these are repeatable. So every 90 days, you can retell the same stories or repurpose stories from one platform to another. So check this out in the vault. Right now, it's $37. I don't know how long I'm going to keep this in the vault. Depends on if you find it useful or not. So go and check it out now. Speaking of dogs, again, here's one that I haven't seen exist. Maybe it does, or maybe you can try it. Why not do something? If you have a business that does anything outdoors, you've probably seen videos from like UPS guys or FedEx guys that have dogs that run up to their trucks and they give them treats, and this just happens on their route. Well, what if you're like a house painter or a landscaper or something like that, and you decide with permission of the owners to do like a dog of the week, and it just gets to be this thing that you're known for on social media. But on top of that, maybe at the end of the year, you make a calendar. I mean, you're probably going to do something for your clients anyway. Why not make a calendar of all these dogs? Who's going to buy this? Well, anybody who loves dogs, anybody who owns one of those dogs. You can put 4, 5, 6 dogs on a page, depending on how many dogs you have throughout the year, or cats. Okay, whatever. But you sell this, people buy this, or you give it away, all of the above. And if you do sell it, those proceeds can either go to fund your small business in the off season, or it can be donated to charity, or both. A portion of all proceeds goes to this charity. And pick a local charity if you're a local business. This matters because community is something that huge corporations cannot duplicate. So, for example, this Wi-Fi client of mine, they are getting encroached on by these huge companies, Google Fiber and Xfinity. They're coming to town because they've already penetrated all of the big cities, and now they're fanning out and getting their tendrils into all of the rural communities. And this company has been around for decades, and it is in the local community. So doing things that support the local community, you don't need to always partner with a big, well-known national charity. That's great if you do. If you believe in like breast cancer research, or you believe in any national research, great. But if there is a local version of that, a local hospital, a local anything, that you can partner with to keep that money in your community, that matters to a lot of people in your community. And it gives you another talking point throughout the year and it gives you great pictures, great media. So this is a win-win-win. I love these collaborations. Think about collaborations that are a win for your community, a win for you, a win for if you collaborate with another business, all around. So how can you collab with another business or charity or both and keep it low? Okay, now let's shift to talking about kids, things that incorporate kids. I already talked about like a calendar idea, and this was an idea that I shared with one of my credit union audiences. It was like a state association of all these different credit unions, and a lot of them serve smaller communities, as you can tell. That's a soft spot of mine. I love rural, I love the underdog, I love credit unions because they compete against big banks. I love the underdog. Dogs, again, with the dogs. There is no undercat, and there's a reason for that. Okay, so kids, we talked about the calendar. How about if you are a credit union or you're a car dealership or you're any type of local brick and mortar business, why not have a coloring contest? And I'm not talking about something that goes year round. I'm talking about a limited scope so people make your business a destination, and it's promoted that people can bring their kids in. And the reason I like a credit union or a car dealership for this is because people, if they're getting a mortgage or something like that, they have to wait. And if they have their kids with them, it can be really distracting for you and for them. So give their kids something to do. If they're at the car dealership, either buying a new car or getting service done at a car care facility, have this coloring contest. It can go year round. I mean, it can be once a month, whatever. But again, gather these up, especially if this is something like you want to do once a month, and pick a winner each month in different age groups. And at the end of the year, do the calendar thing. You're going to give your clients something anyway, or this gives you something that you can sell. Either way, who's going to buy this calendar? Every parent, every grandparent. You have to get permission. You always have to get permission. So especially with people's kids, you have to be really careful. And I would actually have get waivers for them to sign that give you explicit permission, or just use the kid's first name, last initial, and then you're safe, and their age. So that is pretty safe. But either way, waivers are always safe, and you can drum one up quite easily and quickly using AI. Here's another idea of things that you can do that involve kids. How about instead of like a coloring contest, you did a crafting session? This draws moms and kids. And this is especially good, again, if you have like a waiting room. Think about dentists, doctor's offices. Think about, again, like car repair, getting your oil changed, anything where people are waiting and they're bringing their kids. Anything where they can do a quick little craft. A car wash where you're probably waiting in line and the car wash maybe takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Well, make that wait something pleasurable and something enjoyable for their kids, which makes the parents really happy and also brings word of mouth. This isn't as PR worthy, but you can just set up a crafting station in a corner somewhere. Or you can have this be guided and have it be a destination like, hey, this Saturday, or pick a slow day, this Monday night between 6 and 9 p.m., if you come to the car wash, we're going to have this person who's going to lead your kids in crafting, or even lead adults. We're going to make a Christmas ornament. We're going to make a summer bird feeder. I don't know, whatever. But think about crafting. Another idea that involves kids is this one I love because I got this idea I spoke to a very large audience, my largest one ever, 4,000 car care, like mechanic shop owners. And I was talking about like, what makes your shop different? Why should people come to you? And this man, I was saying, what do you have in your lobby that's maybe different? And not many people had something that was different, but one man raised his hand and he said, I have Legos. I have lots and lots of Legos because my son is autistic and he loves Legos and he can get lost in them for hours and it just makes him really happy and it calms him down. And I said, this is fantastic. Promote this, please. You don't have to feel like you're taking advantage of this. You are helping other parents by giving them a place where they can go for service and they know that this is going to be a great environment for their kid. So if you do something like this, promote it, because it is a great PR angle, of course. It does make great social media, but also you're providing a service and you're really, really differentiating yourself. You can do this as a collaboration with your local library, or a local toy store where you have like maybe a sensory safe playtime that is a certain day of the week or day of the month. Like, hey, the first Tuesday of every month, we have this sensory safe area where it's going to be, whatever that looks like that you can accomplish in your location. This has a huge crowd of support. This will get lots of PR and it will drive lots of really, really appreciative parents to your establishment. And even if they can't come, they're going to remember you and it's going to stand out and it's going to build trust because you're doing something really cool. Okay, I saved the weirdest one for last. There is this online, it's now a business called deathcafe.com. And I got to read this because this is a global movement started in the UK by John Underwood in 2011, where people gather at cafes, coffee shops, and community spaces or businesses to drink tea, eat cake, and talk about death. No agenda, just conversation. And I think this deathcafe.com is just a place where you can register yours. As of now, there have been 23,344 death cafes held in 97 countries. So if your business lends itself to something weird or something to do with death or comforting or grief or anything like that, this is so weird and wonderful. And it gives people a place to form community in the weirdest, most wonderful way. I love it. I'm here for it. So I hope these have planted some seeds as to what kind of weird, unusual, wonderful collaborations you can do if you're local, especially in your local community, or if you are regional, or maybe you're national and you're still a small biz. What can you do? And I know I left out my online small businesses with this one because all the examples that I gave were for more brick and mortar type businesses. But there are ways for you to adapt these things. People can send in their coloring contest, things from their kids. They can send in pictures of their dogs. A lot of these things can be done. You can still have a death cafe. It can just be virtual. And all of this can be recreated. My point is, think about what you can do that doesn't already exist, or do your research, and maybe it's something that doesn't exist where you are, but it's been done successfully somewhere else. Call up that business, ask what they did, what they would do differently. I hope this has been helpful. I know this has been a weird episode. I love this. I'm going to be doing more weird episodes like this. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to Underestimated, hosted by Shawna Suckow. To connect with Shawna, go to thebuyerinsider.com.